Welcome to Influential Entrepreneurs, bringing you interviews with elite business leaders and experts, sharing tips and strategies for elevating your business to the next level. Here's your host, Mike Saunders.
Hello and welcome to this episode of Influential Entrepreneurs. This is Mike Saunders with Marketing Huddle, and today we have with us AJ Wilcox, who is the founder of B2Linked, and welcome to the program, AJ.
Mike, thanks so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
Yeah, well, thanks for your time. And tell me a little bit about what is B2Linked. I teach marketing for some schools, and I'm familiar with B2B, B2C, B2G. So I love I think where you're going with that, with kind of like a B2L, right?
You're pretty much right there. I mean, what I wanted to do, I'm an agency that specializes only in helping people advertise on LinkedIn. And so, of course, if I chose a domain name with the word LinkedIn in it, then LinkedIn could just take me to court and have me turn it over at any time. So I wanted to get B2B and LinkedIn all in one domain, so we became B2Linked.
B2Linked, good. And so when you're thinking about business and specializations, you're not just an advertising agency that'll advertise in newspaper and online and Google and Facebook and LinkedIn. So you are LinkedIn, and I would assume it's because it's just what you know, but why would you recommend to a client you need to be on LinkedIn?
Well, what's interesting is when I very first got into LinkedIn advertising, I was working in a previous corporate job, and I had been doing Google advertising and SEO for about 5 years at that point. I felt like a real veteran. And then my boss told me on my very first day starting, hey, by the way, you're going to be running some LinkedIn ads. And I was like, oh, yes, ma'am, absolutely. And I saluted her and walked out of her office and started laughing to myself because I felt like a veteran at digital marketing, and I'd never even heard of LinkedIn ads. And so I figured, I mean, every time I would have an issue using LinkedIn advertising at this job, I'd go and Google, like, hey, how do you do X on LinkedIn ads? And no one was out there publishing and writing about it. And so when it came time, when I started thinking about maybe scratching this entrepreneurial itch, the concept of, hey, I've got to be the best one in the world at this thing. Maybe I should do something with that. So that's kind of where the specialty came. And now, of course, I could branch out, but we get plenty of business from people just being on LinkedIn, but I haven't felt the need to branch out yet.
Yeah. And, you know, I've said for years, this is, I don't know how common this is, but it's kind of like an easy way to explain to a business owner, where should you be spending your time on social media? And it's almost like when you say, well, you got to know your target audience. And it's kind of, you know, you think of Twitter like shorts and flip-flops, Facebook as kind of like dressy casual, and LinkedIn as your tuxedo, you know, black tie event. And is that kind of like how you're perceiving, you know, in other words, if you're trying to sell skateboards, you're not going to do a LinkedIn ad campaign?
Yeah, exactly. And I think there's a little bit more to it in the way that I think about it, because Facebook has some pretty decent business-to-business targeting, and Twitter has some good facets that you can use to target business-to-business. And so the way I think about it is I don't necessarily care what medium they're interacting with me on. I really just care about being able to make sure that I'm showing ads only to the right person, because I don't want to waste impressions on people who are not my customer. And what I found is that's much better on LinkedIn, because when you're on LinkedIn, you're either thinking about your work or your career. And so when I show someone an offer that augments one of those two things, they're paying attention. Whereas if I show them even the same offer on Facebook, even though it might cost less to do, I'm going to be distracting them from trying to see pictures of their family or where's that farm bill.
Yeah, that's a good point. And you know, one thing that kind of jumps out at me when you were mentioning that, is there a metric like, you know, Facebook says, well, the average Facebook user is on Facebook X number of minutes, or they log in this many times per week or day. Well, with LinkedIn, I personally don't get the feeling that people, the first thing they do in the morning is jump on LinkedIn, whereas on Facebook, that's you're catching up on all the daily gossip. So when you're thinking about an advertising campaign, do you have to take that into consideration?
Oh, that's an excellent question. I love it. So LinkedIn does not publish this data, and it's it's obvious why. People do not spend time on LinkedIn like they do on Facebook. So Facebook, I think the last stat I heard was they're on Facebook 17 times a day. They're checking in. It's like a total of, from one study I read, and this isn't official LinkedIn, but it was like the average user on LinkedIn is spending 17 minutes a week on LinkedIn. And so they spend so little time. But if you're thinking about where to put your marketing dollars, the way that I look at it is you're only going to pay when someone clicks on your ads.
So it doesn't matter.
Exactly. If you show ads to a very specific group of people and you don't have anyone see it, no one clicks on it, then you're not out anything except your time.
Yeah. And you might, like if you did a Facebook campaign, you might get some success within 48 hours, whereas on LinkedIn it might be, 4 days, 5 days, but that's not, you're not needing you know that going in. And I think that's a good expectation to set. And you're kind of going after that executive corporate type client. So your ads are different. Your pitch is different. So you're not expecting ad shows up Monday, money in the bank Tuesday. It's not that kind of a campaign.
Exactly. Although I will say I'm always surprised by things like when I go to a potential client and they say, hey, we show we're targeting CEOs in the tech industry in large companies, for instance. And I go, great, let's put a campaign together. They always stop me and say, hey, AJ, we just don't think those CEOs are spending any time on LinkedIn. Like, is this going to be a waste of our time? When we run it, we are getting clicks, we are getting traffic. We're very much able to fill our budgets with the budget we've allocated. And so I'll say people are not spending the same amount of time on LinkedIn, but because that is where the professional audience is, it really is not hard to get scale there.
And also, isn't it kind of like the in the Google keyword, you'll understand this when I explain it, but which would be a better keyword? I don't know, kitchen knife or best deal on kitchen knife. Obviously, the buying phrase is best deal on because you're already past the point of should I get a kitchen knife or not. You want the best deal. Well, same with LinkedIn. It's a different class of person on LinkedIn. They don't log in as much, but when they do, their mindset is not on looking at pictures of puppies. Their mindset is on corporate business, high-end, affluent type things. So when they see your ad, maybe they're more predisposed to kind of taking half a second to consider it.
Yeah, and that's exactly the experience from my own experience.
So, what's kind of happening in LinkedIn? I think that I heard they just got bought out or merged, or there's new features, or what are some of the things that would make people go, okay, I understand it's different, and my target audience is living on LinkedIn. I might want to do a LinkedIn ad campaign. What are some of the cool things that are coming up there that you're seeing in LinkedIn?
Okay, so Microsoft bought LinkedIn for, I think it was $27.2 billion last year. It went through at the end of last year. And so I get this question a lot from people about LinkedIn saying, hey, now that Microsoft owns them, is that why they just did a new refresh of their design? And is that why the fact of the matter is these are two giant companies that move at a snail's pace because they're so massive. And so because of that acquisition, nothing has happened yet. Like, we don't see anything on LinkedIn that is because of Microsoft yet. That will take months and months. But what did happen recently that I'm super excited about, back at the end of April, LinkedIn Ads released one of the biggest updates that they've given us in years, maybe ever. They gave us something that they call matched audiences. And so that's 3 new targeting features. Number 1, retargeting. I'm assuming most of your listeners have probably had some kind of touch with retargeting as a technology. Everyone else has it. LinkedIn was the last one to get it.
Yeah.
Number 2 is email match. Facebook, Twitter, and AdWords have had this for quite some time now, the ability to upload a list of email addresses and either only show ads to them or exclude them from other advertising. And that's really cool. I'm super glad they came out with it. But the third one is by far my favorite, and this is called Account Match. It's the ability to upload a list of company names. So most salespeople, if you talk to them, you say, give me 50 brands that you would kill to work with, and they name them right off. This gives you the ability on LinkedIn to say, hey, we have a list of 500 companies in the world. These are the big fish that we want to work with. you're going to show ads only to those companies, and then that means every lead that you generate from your campaign is going to be super high value, and your salespeople will love you for it. So I'm super glad they came out with those features. It's made a big difference for us personally.
Yeah, that is really good, and I think a lot of people would not realize that. And I think let me kind of be the newbie. I'll ask a newbie question. Tell me how it would look to combine retargeting with the match that you just mentioned.
Yeah, so one thing that I've done before is I probably wouldn't combine the two in most cases, but I'll give you some cool use cases for both of them. So number one, on LinkedIn, let's say you're targeting a group of 30,000 people, and you're going to, at some point, if you're advertising for a long time, you're going to churn through those people. The majority of them will have seen you. A percentage of them will have clicked on your ads before and will have interacted. And so what if you could create an audience of everyone who's already clicked on your ad and then exclude them from the future? So you start with 30,000 people in your audience. You're advertising and you're paying usually between $6 and $8 per click every time someone interacts. And then anytime someone clicks on your ad, you're excluding them from that initial touch ad, and you're not going to waste money on anyone that you've already had a shot at. And then you can also take that same retargeting audience and show a specific ad to them. Maybe it's a little bit further along in the buying process you're showing them. So that's really cool on the retargeting front. On the company match front, what I really like doing is basically any company I talk to, I can go to them and say, hey, give me a list of your competitors. Who do you mainly compete with? They'll give me a list of 20 to 50 companies. I don't know. We'll take that, put them into a list, and then any ad I launch will add that list of their competitors' companies as a negative, so excluding them from the audience. And that means no matter what they're advertising, their competitors have no idea what they're doing. They're totally flying blind, and it's a great way of getting ahead.
Yeah, that's really good too. I mean, because in these days there's so many people that are hacking, modeling, whatever you want to call it, and they're just kind of watching for what you do and to see if they can knock you off.
Exactly. And it's a really dangerous trap to get into, because just because you see your competitor doing something doesn't mean that it's working. It doesn't mean that they're any further ahead than you. But companies get in this trap, like on search marketing, SEO and Google AdWords, Bing ads, it's really difficult not to type the same keyword that you're going after, look at what your competitors are doing and say, oh, maybe we should be doing that too. Maybe they figured out something that we don't. It's a dangerous trap to get into.
Yeah, it's a good point. Hey, so are you seeing many of your clients or most of your clients picking one type of campaign over another, such as a branding campaign versus a direct response campaign?
Oh, I would say the vast majority are going more for the direct response. And the reason for that is LinkedIn as a channel is, like, no bones about it, they are more expensive than other channels. And so because of that, if you're going to pay $6 to $8 per click, whereas you might pay 30 to 90 cents per click if you were using Facebook, because there's such a high cost and a high risk involved in that, what I tell people is, hey, if you want to be advertising on LinkedIn, you need an email address at least out of someone.
Yep.
Like this is going to be a lead generation platform. If you're only going to be using it for branding, that's just really expensive branding. And maybe the Fortune 500 can do that, but the vast majority of my clients can't.
Yeah, that's a super good point. Do you get involved in advising them on where the click should go? Are we going to send them to your homepage and now they're just going to get confused at what you're offering, or should it be one specific offer?
Yeah, it's funny, being so specialized in just LinkedIn, I do get the opportunity to go into the rest of my digital marketing past quite a bit. And so I find myself giving a lot of free consulting to my clients on, hey, this isn't just LinkedIn. This is all of your social channels. This is all of your digital marketing traffic. Here's how to deal with it. Here's what I would do in other channels. So we get into that quite a bit.
Yeah, and I think that you probably can approach then some of the follow-up differently, because knowing that it's a LinkedIn audience, the way they respond to your follow-up is going to be different than a Twitter audience. So as an example, you might not need a 30 email follow-up series, buy now, coupon, deadline, you might need some, just some good substantive content marketing type, hey, thought you'd like to read our latest white paper, here's the PDF, no more opt-in needed. And then they are seeing these outreaches as really helpful and not, trying to sell them on something.
Oh, that's exactly right. And in fact, I've seen the same thing with when we are sharing content on LinkedIn, we are able to so carefully craft who is seeing that content. And so, for instance, if I have a client who says, I want to show my ads to IT decision makers, I'm not just going to set up one audience that says, if you're in IT and you have a manager or above title, that's what I want to show you. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up 4 different audiences. I'm going to have one that's IT managers, one that's IT directors, one that's IT VPs, and one that's CIOs and CTOs. And what that's going to give me is, over time, I'm going to see what type of audience, what level of seniority is interacting with my content and how. And then that's going to help me go back to the client and say, hey, the C-level is not interacting with this content, but managers are. If you want to talk more to the C-level, let's up-level the content. Let's design and craft it more for them. And so it's much more powerful than just driving leads. It's understanding your audience.
And I would also suspect that you could almost create specific segmented buckets with that, in the sense of, if it's a IT manager, they would be sent to the landing page that kind of says, as an IT manager, you need to understand, download our white paper. And then now you know that everybody that's on that list is an IT manager, whereas a CIO, maybe their white paper is a different one, and then now you know exactly who you're talking to.
Exactly, and no other platform can you do this on.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, because you could say on Facebook, hey, let's run this ad that says, if you are this, well, any jackleg could click that ad. You don't know. But on LinkedIn, you're saying that only those people are seeing it because of the job description and things like that.
Absolutely, Mike. You get it.
Yeah, I guess hopefully this is now helpful. You can send this interview out to people you're looking at working with, because it's kind of a neat overview of even just strategy of your whole business. But yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense, and I like you got to know which pond to fish in. Again, you're not selling skateboards on LinkedIn. You got to know who potentially is going to respond to your content. So what are some things you're seeing in the future coming up in the next year, 2 years regarding LinkedIn that may be a really big game changer that you're hoping to come, or that's in the works?
Okay, so anyone here listening who's doing anything with video, this will not come as a surprise. To those of you who aren't, this may be a little bit surprising. So Facebook and YouTube right now are at absolute war with each other, trying to win who's going to own paid video ads. And so because of that, prices are artificially low right now. They are so incredibly cheap for video. And so I see that I'm able to show a video and pay half a cent per view on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube, on basically every other platform. But LinkedIn, I can't use video. So what I'm hoping here in the future is that LinkedIn comes out with video. I saw a little inkling this morning. I didn't read like a full news story, but it sounds like LinkedIn might be getting into live video here pretty soon. And so if LinkedIn can nail video, I think it will be the platform of my B2B dreams.
Yeah, that's a really great point. Video has been popular for a long time, but it's almost like, if, I'm sure LinkedIn didn't plan it this way, but it's almost like, okay, let all the other channels get, all tired of this feature, that feature. And then when we come along, people are like, okay, I'm really serious. And so that's an interesting analogy. And I think that you're right. I mean, the video, it's going to be a different type of video. It's probably not going to be you walking in the park with a selfie stick. It's probably going to be you sitting in the boardroom going, okay, here's one little nugget that we need to understand for today with this type of market. And so I think that you need to then know what kind of content to put in your video, right?
Oh, yeah. And along that same idea, I mean, video, text, it's all the same. You're all communicating a story and language to your customer. And because you're on LinkedIn, that idea is conveyed differently. I'll give you a little concept here. We worked with someone who was really, really good at Facebook ads. And so they gave us, for their LinkedIn campaign, a whole bunch of different ad copy that we could potentially use. And we were looking at it, and it was all this like super sensationalistic stuff, like, this industry is ending. Find out now. Give us your email address.
Yep.
And what's so funny is we went ahead and ran it, but we got very subpar results, even though I felt like the offer was really compelling. But when we dressed it up and we spoke professionally about it and didn't over-sensationalize it, all of a sudden it started performing great. And this happens all the time. So, yeah, definitely consider where your audience is and craft your message accordingly.
Perfect. Love it. Hey, let's wrap up with what's the best way people can reach out and learn more about you and what you can do to help them out.
Sure thing. If you go to B2Linked.com, that's the letter B, the number 2, and then the word linked.com, if you fill out that contact form on the website, here's my promise to you. You're not going to be put into a nurture sequence flow. You're not going to be reached out to by a sales rep. You will have me personally, an expert at LinkedIn ads, responding back to you, not a member of my team. So if you have any questions, don't feel like you're, I guess just don't be intimidated to reach out. Any question you have, I super love to interact with people about LinkedIn and love to teach and train. And if there's an opportunity to work together, obviously awesome, but if not, I'm not going to sweat it.
Awesome. That is really good, AJ. It was great getting to know you. Thanks for coming on today.
Hey, Mike, thanks so much again for having me, and thanks everyone for listening.
You've been listening to Influential Entrepreneurs with Mike Saunders. To learn more about the resources mentioned on today's show or listen to past episodes, visit www.influentialentrepreneursradio.com.